Hey everyone, what's up? We're doing a video here on the worst card, or what people are saying is the worst card of this new Hearthstone expansion. And we're trying to find a win with a deck I built entirely around this one card. So the card is basically a 5 mana do nothing card. You play it, literally doesn't do anything for you, doesn't clear anything, doesn't give you a minion. I mean, you're kind of screwed. But if you can get past that, one turn and then another turn and another turn, this black rock and roll card will somewhat, give you an advantage as the game goes on, because the stats of your minions will just be crazy. But it's all about trying to get to that point, and that can be a little bit difficult. So what I did was I built this deck, and as you can see, we have our 1 mana little Murloc that sends all of our hand back into the deck. Now that's an important card, because if you don't actually get the 5 mana do nothing card, Black Rock and Roll, in your starting hand, then you're kind of screwed, because your whole deck's built around it, so you're going to have to search for it somehow. So I've put a couple cards in here that can help us do that, and that little Murloc is one of them. And some of the other cards, as you can see, our little 5 mana undead gnome. He can actually discover us 2 cards, 2 spell cards, and they're from the warrior class, and there's not a whole lot of spells for the warrior class in this expansion that you can use in standard, so not a huge pool, which actually helps us, because that little guy gets us 2 cards if we play him on turn 5, because he is a finale card, which is the new mechanic for this expansion. And the whole finale mechanic is just basically you have to play it as your last card that uses all your mana. So if it's a 5 mana card, you have to have 5 mana left. And you use it, you get a special effect, like discover another card. And so that one can act, so that card actually helps me discover Black Rock and Roll if I don't draw it in my opening hand. And as you can see, in my opening hand, I just got rid of everything. That's what I always do, and unless I have the Murloc, I'll keep him. I get rid of everything, trying to get that one card. And I've had some success with this deck against Death Knights, and it's simply because the Death Knights, they don't put like a whole lot of pressure. Yes, they can put some pressure, but generally my taunts and my stats will actually kind of put up a giant wall that Death Knights just don't have the cards to get through. Like, they're not like a priest that has like a mass silence or just a clear your board. Same with Warlock and like Twisting Nether. And then other classes that are just really fast, and if they high roll, they can just, destroy you before you can even get, before you can either play the card or draw the card. They'll just roll right through you. But I've had some pretty good success so far. We're in Platinum. I'm hoping to get to Legend with this deck. If I can get to Legend with this deck that I made, with a 5 mana do nothing card, the worst card in the expansion, then I think I would be happy. Anyways, back to the game that is going on. So as you can see, I'm just putting up taunts, I'm trying to clear minions, because we just haven't got the card yet. But luckily it's turn 5, so we have 2 chances to get it here. And I'm just going to take Forged in Flame, a little bit of card draw, and there it is. So now that we have it, all we want to do is survive, which means maybe we clear the minions. I don't think I'm going to use my weapon, because once we use Black Rock and Roll, you actually have to draw all your powered up cards. And basically Black Rock and Roll makes it so that their mana cost adds those amount of stats. So if it's a 3 mana card, it's going to add 3 + 3 + 3. And once you add those stats, you actually have to draw the cards with those enhanced stats, because it doesn't. It's a 5 mana do nothing. It literally doesn't even help your hand. Your hand doesn't get any buffs. It's all in your deck, so you have to draw it. So I'm gonna save that draw. So once we actually play the spell, then we can use our weapon, which has 3 attacks. So we'll draw 3 cards, and all those cards should be buffed, unless they are the one spell card that I have in my deck, which is Last Stand, as we draw it. And Last Stand is, it's fine if we draw that, because it's only a 1 mana card spell that we use it, and it grabs us our buffed up minion just like that. Our 4 mana 6/9 now. That also gives me a weapon. So, the investment into the 5 mana do nothing, it starts paying off, because every card that you play afterwards is just, it's going to be a pain to deal with if you are the opponent, and especially if you're a Death Knight, because I guess Death Knights just don't have a lot of good cards for dealing with giant minions, and they're not as fast as Demon Hunter. Demon Hunters are just very fast, kill you very fast. But weirdly enough, I think the hardest class that I've had to deal with when playing this deck is Druid. For some reason, Druid has been tough. So here with Mana Thirst at turn 7, we could play our 1 mana spell, which would draw us a minion with double the stats, a taunt minion, but we're not going to do that, because I actually put the 7 mana 7/7 double all the stats of your cards, and it's not a meme, okay? Like, it's actually pretty good in this deck. Like, you'd think that you already had a 5 mana do nothing, so a 7 mana barely does anything, just gives you a 7/7 body with no taunt or rush or anything. You'd think that putting 2 of those cards would be bad, but it just gets ridiculous if you can get both cards out. If you get both cards and you're still alive, then all of a sudden you're playing, minions that have over 20 stats, or a 4 mana 18/16 that also has a Death Rattle upside. So yeah, it gets a little bit ludicrous if you can get both. And so at this point, this game's kind of over with. As you can see, we also just drew a bunch of our cards. And there's a 40/40. A 40/40 with Rush. And +2/+2, so a 42/42. So this Death Knight's probably cursing me right now. But you know what? I'm just gonna tell him to fight on, friend. Because I don't want him to leave. I want that juicy 42 damage execution when he's at 34 health, and I bet he was thinking he was pretty safe at 34 health just a moment ago. He was thinking, you know what? I got 34 health. I could probably get enough minions down and kill that, remainder 19 health warrior. But you know what? 42/42. There you go. 42. Yep. And there's the auto concede after 5 minutes of cursing my name. So there we go. We got my first win on video. So it's proof that the 5 mana do nothing card can get a win. Well, let's see if we can get a few more next video.